Hello and welcome to the channel. In this video we'll walk around the lake and I'll introduce you to some new arrivals and also some unwanted guests. Heard my first cuckoo yesterday. It's not raining and it's not windy. You can see the lake where some of the lads have actually caught some fish. Cuckoo's going for it this morning. The remains of Charles, one of our swans, unfortunately. Very noisy geese. We've had up to 23 geese on Swan Lake. Unfortunately, a fox took one of our swans, Charles, and then he left Camilla at the pen. And unsurprisingly, she's taken flight, hopefully finding a new partner and nesting somewhere, and will be back soon. Morning, ladies. Brown sheep there. And their lambs. You can see here how short the grass is, trimmed down by the geese. Over the winter, the spillway from the lake has been a raging torrent and struggled to cross it. You wouldn't believe it now. We just need to perhaps line it with a few more pebbles and rocks. Stop it cutting itself. There's the ditch it takes, unfortunately a straight line down to the brook. This is the soft rush, which was flailed back end of last year, and the plan is to let it grow, put all its vigour into regrowing, and at the end of June, so the nesting birds have a chance to nest, we're going to cut it again just before it seeds and hopefully take some of the vigour out and stop it taking over everywhere. Because it's first thing in the morning, you can see the cheerful faces of the celandines haven't opened up to the sunlight yet, sunshine. I'm quite proud of a section of hedging that we managed to get in at the last minute. We were gifted some leftover pieces of hedging that had been stuck in a bucket all winter, and some of them have managed to sprout. And we've rescued the spiral binders, which must be 20 years old, off some of the plantation. And it turns out we got, I think, some mountain ash, some rowan. You can see where the fox comes through there, can't you? And then the farmer in the past has left a snare for the fox. You see the snare? Oh, I've taken that off, I don't want that. And then we've got some hazel. After the hazel, we've got Crataegus or hawthorn, hazel, and most of it seems to have taken. And I think we also have some field maple. That's one that the hawthorn, I don't think they'll make it. You never know. The lust for life is strong, isn't it? We'll see how we go. But I know it's not double planted. I've also stuck in some stakes that are made out of hazel, and they'll probably survive and live, knowing my luck. So let's see how they get on. There's the farmer next door. You can see the blackthorn flowering here, but that's one of the problems with flailing, is it makes your hedge look nice and neat. But unfortunately, the blackthorn never gets a chance to properly flower, which means it doesn't fruit with the sloes like it should do. And that's not good for the wildlife. And it also means the hedge, all the new growth in the hedge is starting to not come into leaf. It starts a lot later. And so it takes about a month for it to come on. And that's a month too late for the birds to nest in. So hence the decline in the birds. The moles have been busy. I might come and borrow some of that soil to put in, bulk up my raised beds. They've certainly been busy here. Every morning there's always paw prints on the molehills. So I'm sure a fox comes out and has a, you can see there, has a little rout about, see if he can find some dinner. This fence isn't brilliant, stock fence with a tensioning wire on the top. The posts are rotting out, and then the sheep push against it. And then someone in the past, as you can see, these posts aren't doing anything, completely rotten. So put some new ones in. But further down, even the new ones have rotted out. So they're just hanging on the fence. So what I need to do, I think, is take off the ones like that one, they're completely hollow, you can hear. And yesterday, Brothers and I, as you can see, badly banged in a few reclaimed posts which we found lying about, like you do. That yes, they're a bit rotten or what have you, but they're better trying to hold the fence up than just lying around. So this is a bit better. I need to nail the fence to it with some staples. You can see completely gone. And then, as we're feeling strong, we lifted that old gate. There's the new gate. We lifted the old gate over the fence, and we've got a use for that. Second-hand man, we like to make use of things. What a cracking morning, isn't it? Beautiful. So today's an exciting day because we have a few new additions to our family who we're going to go and collect later on this morning, and I'll introduce them to you once we get back, or perhaps when we collect them, if I remember to get my camera out. So don't hold your breath. I'd like to show you my dead hedge that I'm attempting. I appreciate it's not continuous and they need to join up to existing hedgerows and woodland, but that'll come in due course. So to establish a forage line, it gets rid of the brash rather than just burning it, and establishes a bit of biomass. And hopefully, with birds creeping on there and dropping seeds and things, that a new hedge will develop. So that's a low one. And you can see I put some grass cuttings there, just trying to build up a bit of something because the bank is all stony. And here's my attempt at the other dead hedge. I was going to cut the posts down so they're all the same height, but I think I might leave them because when I get up in the morning, there's always birds perched on the uprights, and I thought, well, give them somewhere to sit. So I had to sort of encase it with those posts because when I first stacked it up, we had such strong winds it would just blow all over everywhere. And looking down to the lake, you can see that fenced enclosure. I'll show you that a bit later on. But that is our new willow plantation. And I'll tell you all about that in a later video. So you can see in the morning sun, easterly sky, it's behind the trees. There's our shed, which some of the family painted in willow colour, whatever colour that is. That's the willow, so it's all grey-green. And as you can see, we've got some gutters to put on it to stop the rain blowing down into the wood and making that all wet. So that's another job to do. Equally, another job to do is to fix this fence, gate rather, because you have to lift it up to close it. And it does my back in every time, and then put it tight. The previous owners had a plastic pond there, which they took out and left the old broken bit of plastic behind for us. So I've been filling it in. I did dig down. I was going to plant things there, but it's actually just full of water, so it's obviously a low point. And then a friend of ours gifted us 2 rhubarbs, which they've got absolutely nothing to grow in because it's just rock there, but I just needed to get them in, obviously, to keep them alive. So I need to keep feeding them. And this bush is loved by the sparrows. There's normally 6, 8, perhaps a dozen sparrows. There they come in. There's a whole flock of them. That's our hornbeam hedge, which has again been flailed from one side, and then I've tried cutting it, hedge trimming it from this side, trying to get rid of the big bits of wood and just leave it all sort of light and twiggy. It makes it a lot easier to cut. And then the grass, which has benefited from all that rain. You can see it's I'm keep cutting it and cutting it, getting that back down through the thatch. Hopefully that will come back into something more respectable. And for most of the day, this is a warm wall, stone wall. It's going to absorb heat and then release it at night. And that's what I'm going to put this year. I'm going to try putting my tomatoes in. Tomatoes in the last few years have been, well, all of my stuff, vegetables, has been rubbish. But I've put down to the compost that I've been using. So I've changed compost. And then we made a start. Let me banj. If only you had an opposable thumb, you could join in, couldn't you? We made a start. We made a couple of raised beds, roughly, I think they're about 10 foot by 4 foot, something like that. So we've put some liner in the bottom, filled it up with old grass cuttings, haven't we, Banj? And we put some topsoil in and we put some compost in, but they're not nearly full enough. And we've got a composter for all our vegetable waste, and I'm going to dig all that in. And need to get a bit more filled up. But then I haven't planted any seeds yet, so just some salad crops, because we have got a lot of rabbits here. And so I need to think about how I'm going to keep them out before we start planting things out. Pleased to see the cherry tree from the bargain bucket at Tesco's is doing okay. Made it through the winter. And down here, that's a French Golden Delicious, I think. We planted some apples. And then we've been out collecting new additions to our family. My happy helper. We spent the day yesterday putting the old chicken run back together. So we got 4 new hens, which are Silver Sussex. So we need to fill up their feeder. We've got some water. And then our second-hand igloo, which we managed to figure out how to put it back together again. We've got the old concrete slab, which I assume used to have an oil tank like that one. And then we're busy rolling up the barbed wire. And then Ruthers is going to fill up the feed for us. We bought some more stakes. Expensive things. Wooden stakes for the fencing. And a small bag of shavings for their house and some straw for their bedding. So we'll get the house set up first. Remember how to get into it. There we go. Just putting the sawdust down underneath the roosting platform. Soak up any droppings. And then the side panel here, I'm going to stick in some straw. There we go. Who wouldn't want to make their nest in there, lay their eggs? And these girls are 19 weeks old, so they've just started laying. We took 2 boxes with us. It turned out we could get 4 in one box, so we left one with the man selling chickens. He was very pleased, because no doubt he can use them for someone else. It's one of the advantages of just having moved house. You've got some moving boxes. That's the layers pellets, and you need to have someone young and bendy. You either fill up their feeder outside, and then you can't lift it to put it inside, or then you've got the awkwardness of trying to fill up their feeder from the inside. We found this feeder works the best. There we go. And you pour it in the big drum, and then at the bottom there's a little tiny, I don't know if you can see it, a little bar. They knock the bar and it knocks the food out, so it stops the rats. And then we've got a water trough there, and there's also a water trough above that has little tiny nipples on that they can knock those and get a dribble of water out as well. So it's a double drinker. I think there's some water that just over the winter's filled up this dustbin, which sees all this rainwater. So well, don't choose a bucket that's got holes drilled in the bottom. This time I've got a bucket that hasn't got a hole in. Dear Liza, over our little bridge. Try and trip over the fence. Oh. My happy helper has done that. There we go, all done. Right, hopefully they're not all going to run everywhere. You can be fairly sturdy with them, Fimbo. I think you're going to need this to keep them in. Shake, shake, shake it, hen. Try and slide this in quickly. There you go, you're out. That's 2. Ow, that hurts trying to film and hold that at the same time. I'll do the box. Do the box.
Just one more.
After 3. Ready? 1. 2, 3. We can put her in a sec. Yeah, stop the others coming up. Put that one in. We'll just pick her up. Oh, she's quite tame. Good. There we go. A new home, new country, cross border. Right, let's slide the roof shut and let them out. Oops, sliding that out hits this thing. Let's put a hole in that now. That's not good. Mum didn't think of that when she put that on nice and tight.
Oh,
It's zip tied on, yeah. Right, the door's open. Come on then, girls. Come on then. Out you come. Come on, girls. No, for a minute there you nearly did, and I think I scared you away. There's our supply of steaks. The lovely smell of fresh crushed nettles just here. We inherited a big pile of rocks, which don't quite know what to do with it. Make a rockery. I'd quite like to do what Dominic Chinneer's done from the repair shop, where he made a large fire pit, but then you need to have a digger or something to maneuver them around. That'd be a nice place to sit with a fire going, wouldn't it? Seems like every time I go out, you find more rubbish, don't you? One of my pet hates, baler twine. Still, we're gradually cleansing the land, all the plastic and beer bottles and cans we found. This pile of logs, we've just stacked it up as a bit of a hibernaculum for all the creepy crawlies, beetles and bugs and fungi. All those logs were over here on top of that concrete. And as you can see, we've pressure washed and gained a golf driving mat. So that's given me some ideas what to do with our hillside.
don't want to go very well, did it? The brakes really are just a maybe.
We'll be able to do the turn through the gates. If you drop me off here, I'll undo the gates. Over the cattle grid. Our nicely new treated gates are just painted. Try and prolong their life if we can. Fimbo's just turning the landy round. Ethel, doesn't that cherry tree look gorgeous? You can just see this spare gate off to your upper left-hand side there. And you can see where I've had to put wire to stop Banjo getting out. Previous owner decided to install a large standing stone or a dolmen or menhir. It's all out of slate, which just looks a bit drab to me. It ought to be on top of a hill, shouldn't it? And we're not in a slate area, so it looks a bit out of context with the landscape. And I want to plant some grasses and things around it to soften it up. Try and put a bit of colour here rather than just a grey old slate. This is where I fell through our block paved drive. If I move this slab away, in there, I will now cut to a picture you can see if we took. There's a rabbit burrow there, And they've got rid of all the sand, so we need to pack some more sand down in. That's our second burrow we've found, so we need to put some wire down to make sure they can't dig it out in future. Our other rabbit hole is hiding under this cone under there. Bless them. I don't know if you can see, but they're digging out underneath the deck, and then that goes underneath the drive, and then that's dig out all the sand and make a hole, and then your drive falls to pieces. Have you been a good boy? Yes. Come and say, oh yes, he's a good boy. Oh yes, he's a good boy. Yes. Oh yes, you are. Oh yes. Oh, you missed us. Oh, you missed us. Come on, then. Yeah. Have you seen your new friends? Have you seen your new friends? Come on, show us your new friends. Show us your new friends. You've seen your new friends. Where are they? They're in here, but they have yet to come out. Well, the two brave souls have made it out. Hello, ladies. Hello. You just made it out. Well, they've only been here an hour and they've laid me an egg, albeit a sort of polite young lady's size egg, but only another 84 of those to 100 of those, and then they paid for themselves.